Hello fellow collectors and welcome to Long's Toys. Today we are taking a look at the Baroness with Cobra Coil from the G.I. Joe Classified series from Hasbro. You can see here on the packaging that it is part of the Cobra Island subline, and if you're familiar with the Classified series at all, you know the entire Cobra Island subline was exclusive to Target stores, and this came out probably originally at least a year or so ago. But when they first came out, it was a whole ordeal. They were very underproduced. Couldn't find them in stores anywhere. Scalpers were buying them up like crazy. You know, the pre-orders were selling out in seconds. It was kind of a giant mess. But Hasbro heard the fans. They heard the complaints. They went back and did a massive reissue for everything. And I would say a couple months ago, time really doesn't matter as much anymore, but it feels like it was a couple months ago that this went up for pre-order on both Target and Pulse. I ended up ordering mine on Pulse, and I guess they just took longer to come in. I think the Target ones came in and were fulfilled a while ago. But the Hasbro one, I just got this like 2 or 3 weeks ago at this point. Right before PulseCon, it seemed to come in. So happy to finally have it. I think it looks great. Happy to get the Baroness here. I think we now have a motorcycle for both the Joes and Cobra, because I did review the Ram cycle already. So it's fun to get these kind of smaller vehicles. I don't think we're ever going to get like Hiss tank size vehicles for Classified series just because they're so big, and we've seen them try to experiment like they did that TIE Fighter for the Black series. It didn't really sell that well because it's just too big. I think they do some vehicles like maybe, you know, Serpentor's sled, or, you know, smaller vehicle like the hang gliders, things like that. We could maybe see some smaller vehicles, and like I said, the motorcycles I think look great. They're a good size. Wouldn't expect to get too much taller than that, but who knows with HasLab these days, who knows what we'll see. But in any case, this looks like a pretty good set. Like I said, you get Baroness, you get a host of accessories, you get the motorcycle itself. Packaging looks great. Really nice big window here. You can see you have some nice artwork of the Baroness over here, and it kind of continues on over to the side over here. Really looks sharp. I like that quite a bit. Number 13, that tells you how far back it was released. I think we're up to like the 40s now at this point. Not too much going on the bottom. Spin around to the back. And you just kind of have that same background they have for all the Cobra Island characters, where it's the island and, you know, shows various interesting points around the island. So not too much going on in the back there, but pretty cool packaging. I like it quite a bit. I'm going to go ahead and get everything out of the box here, and we'll take a closer look. All right, so here's everything you get in the box. We'll start over here with the Baroness figure. She looks good. I think they did a really nice job with her. I love that she has weapon storage for just about all of her accessories. She's got some really nice Cobra symbols on the gauntlets, on the chest, and on the belt here. All looks really sharp. Nice red, contrasts well with the black. She's got the long dark hair that goes all the way down her back. Got the glasses here. I'm going to tilt the camera up just a bit so we can get a good look at the face sculpt. I think it looks good. They did a really nice job. I think the glasses work. Now the way the articulation works for the head, she has articulation at the base of the skull and the base of the neck. But because the hair is kind of so form-fitting and goes all the way down the back, it's a little difficult to get articulation at the base of the skull, because kind of turning it from side to side, you know, just kind of hits into the shoulders. But you can have her look down because of that articulation at the base of the neck. She can look up a little bit. You can tilt a little bit side to side. You can kind of swivel side to side. But you can get a decent range of motion there, and I think it looks pretty good. With the shoulders, she has kind of a limited butterfly joint. Not really much going on there, but it is present. She has these little shoulder pads, but they're kind of connected to the arm, so you can swivel the arm around and they don't get in the way. And then when it comes time to use the hinge joint, they kind of just lift up, so you don't really lose any articulation there either, which is really nice. She doesn't have anything in the bicep, but she does have a hinge and a rotation in the elbow. And then she's got a rotation and a hinge in the wrist. She's got a vertical hinge in the wrist there, both wrists, because she's going to be using it to use guns primarily. You can see she's got the trigger fingers molded in. She's got a, like, kind of a ball joint here in the mid-torso. And then if you move the belt up, you can kind of see that she's got some kind of joint there at the waist as well. But mine doesn't really like to move a lot, and I kind of don't want to chance it because I don't want to break it. But there is some kind of movement there. Now, in the hips, you can kick pretty far forward. You can kick out to the side, but I'm going to take the knife out of the holster just for the moment, because otherwise it kind of gets in the way. But you can see, kick pretty far out to the side. You have a butt flap, so you kind of stop about there. You have a thigh swivel, you have double jointed knees, you have a hinge and a rocker in the ankle. So pretty much all the articulation that you would want for a classified figure. I think she looks really good. I really love the 2 gun holsters on the back. I think that's really cool. And of course they just pop out of there very easily. And then you can go ahead and pop these into the hands pretty simply. If I can go ahead and do it there. And then she's got the trigger finger all lined up. So that works really well. And then you do have this cool little cobra-headed knife. Just got a cobra head on the end of the handle there, and that does just slide into this holster here on the side of her thigh. And you can put that in either way. You can put it in like that, or you can turn it around and have it pop in like this. Will fit either way. So that's really cool. I really like that she's got the weapons storage for just about all of her accessories. Now, she does have this kind of giant cobra thing, which is pretty nicely detailed and painted, I will say. It's got the gold paint there on the side, it's got the red for the eyes, and it looks like it has a gun kind of coming out of its mouth, and it's meant to kind of coil around her arm here. So she, like, if you see on the artwork on the side of the box, she's kind of holding it and it's firing the laser. I don't know, maybe that's from an episode I don't remember or something, or maybe it's from the comics. I just really do not remember this accessory. It's kind of neat. But yeah, I don't know, just a little out there. I'm going to go ahead and put the gun back in the holster here. And I will say the only thing that's a little bit annoying is sometimes the holster like to kind of ride up a little bit, especially it gets caught on the snake head of the knife. But just kind of push it back down. It shouldn't be a problem. But yeah, overall, I think she looks really great. It's a really nice figure. Oh, I forgot to mention, she does come with a helmet as well. So if you want to pop that head off and go ahead and put this helmet on for when she's riding the bike, you can certainly do so. I'm not going to bother. I mean, I'm never going to pose her with this helmet, but I appreciate that it was included. So that's kind of cool. So let's go ahead. Let's get into the bike now. I'll put her off to the side for just a moment. There's not a ton to talk about with the bike. I mean, it's functional. It works. It looks good. Definitely like the color scheme. It's got a peg spot here that you can peg her feet into that will actually peg into the bottom of her feet. But it's not really a natural way for her to sit, and I'll show you what I mean. Because they have another one over here, which you would think when she's riding it, she would put the feet back here. But this one doesn't have pegs, so I don't know. You have a little kickstand here that you can flip up, which is nice. You have the front wheel that can move. Both wheels spin very nice. I think that works. A lot of nice molded detail. Again, you have the Cobra symbol there, which I think looks really good. This can kind of lift up and down a little bit. Not really sure why. You have the handlebars here that can move again to move the front wheel. But then they also have kind of like a ball joint so that you can move them around a little bit as well if you want to turn them around, if you need them to kind of suit how she's sitting. I will say that this one comes already plugged in, and the way there are in the box, that because this kind of sits towards the back of the box, this comes separate. Snapping this in was a huge pain. Like, it really shredded my thumb trying to push that in. But it did get in eventually, but it feels a little tight. Like, this one just feels like it moves around a little bit more. So, I don't know. Maybe over time that'll kind of free up, but it just seems like it was unnecessarily tight to pop that in there. It's just a little ball joint, but I don't know. It also has these two guns on the side, which you can see just peg in like this. She can hold these if you want. It's a little difficult to get them into her hands, but she can actually hold these. So I think that's kind of cool that they have these accessories that can peg onto the side of the bike and be used as, weapons for the bike. Or you can have her, grab one off and use it as a personal weapon too, which I think is pretty cool. But yeah, overall, I really like the look of the bike. I think it's a nice design. I like the color scheme. I think the paint applications all work pretty solid. I love the inclusion of the little simple kickstand. It's simple, but it totally works. Let's go ahead and pop her on here. So you kind of want to bring the legs all the way up and then really get the full range of motion out of the double jointed knees. Now, I do wish that these tilted a little bit more forward. They definitely rock backwards, but I can't really get them to rock forward all that much. And if you wanted her to peg into these, you'd have to get this to bend, or you would have to have these on an angle, like a 45-degree angle right here, almost like they are here. So I'm not really sure why. I mean, I guess if I wanted her to just completely stand on the bike, straight up, you could peg into that. I don't know. But in any case, you can just pop her on here, and she'll stay. She's not really going anywhere. You can kind of, like, put it on here so that she's almost reaching these, and then just kind of put the hands towards the bike. If you want to clip her onto the handles, you certainly can. Just kind of turn these around. And it's a little difficult to do, but you can do it. But honestly, just like this, she'll just stay on here, and she looks pretty good. And I mean, I don't think that's a problem. I think she looks great on the bike, just like that. And I think it really works out well. I think this is a really great release. I really like the Baroness figure. I think she looks great. I think the detailing and everything is done really well. The paint applications. I love that she has weapons storage for basically all of her accessories. She's got the holsters on the back for the 2 guns, and then she's got the little knife sheath on the side of her thigh. So all in all, I think it's a really sharp looking figure. I really like the Cobra Coil as well. Like I said, we're probably not going to get too many vehicles for this line, so I think motorcycles are a great choice because there's something you can kind of do in a reasonable price point that don't have to be too large for 6-inch figures. And this one's done really well. Great color scheme. The wheels work well. You have the handlebars that can turn the front wheel. You have guns that can peg onto the side to be used as vehicles, or I should say weapons for the vehicle, but also weapons for the figure as well. And they're all kind of in scale, which I think really works. You have the little kickstand that's very simple, hides away well when you want to use it as a motorcycle, but really works when you need it as a kickstand as well. You also have these 2 accessories. I don't want to leave these out. This one is a little bit of a wild card for me, but it's kind of interesting, and I appreciate the little helmet here if you want to pose her wearing a helmet. I mean, I don't think I'm ever going to, but I appreciate the inclusion of that to give you options. So, very excited that I was finally able to get a hold of one of these because it's a really great figure and a really great vehicle and a really great addition to the line. So if you can get your hands on one of these for retail price, I definitely recommend grabbing one and adding it to your Classified Series collection. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Please like, share, and subscribe. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. And as always, thanks so much for watching.